Boris Johnson can nip Nicola Sturgeon's push for a Scottish independence referendum by passing legislation that would ban a vote until 2034, a former Tory MP and No 10 advisor has said. But Luke Graham, the former head of Downing Street's union unit, believes fresh legislation should be delayed for at least a year to avoid looking like a knee-jerk reaction to last week's Holyrood elections. First Minister Mrs Sturgeon's SNP narrowly missed out on the overall Scottish parliamentary majority she said would be a mandate for a so-called IndyRef2, taking 64 seats, one short of the number required. However, she nevertheless pressed her case during a phone call with Mr Johnson and also suggested it would be absurd if he denied Scots the chance to vote on the issue. Mr Graham, who was replaced in No 10 by Oliver Lewis in February, said the government should change the law to make referendums on the same subject a once-in-a-generation occurrence. Given the last vote was in 2014, this would mean there would not be another one until 2034. Scottish Parliament who say they want to break away from the UK, then you should have a referendum, and that has obviously set us on a particular path. It would be better to articulate exactly when these things should happen and who is involved. The Scottish Parliament have obviously passed draft legislation to try to define their own mandate and way to hold referenda elections, and I think it would be good for Westminster to update that again. We need to be quite careful, though, that you don't fall into the trap of looking like you are moving the goalposts deliberately. So timing of this needs to be very carefully thought through so it doesn't look like we've got a knee-jerk response to a pro-independence majority. Any introduction of new legislation should be delayed until 2022 or 23 to allow for the coronavirus recovery, the former MP for Ochil and South Perthshire argued. With specific reference about what any new law should say about the time frame for another referendum, he added, realistically it has to be at least 20 years before you get into that routine.